than 10 days left to the release of City of Heavenly Fire, and I have new theories that I must share. Cat of Cattastic, maybe you heard of her. She and I have been going back and forth, building up these two theories over Voxer the last 24 hours. Before I jump into what these theories are, I need you to know that if you have not read the Infernal Devices series and the Mortal Instruments series up to City of Lost Souls, there's a chance that you will be spoiled watching this video. That being said, the theories that I'm gonna tell you are theories. I do not know if they're correct. If you're watching this after the release of City of Heavenly Fire, I don't know what happened in City of Heavenly Fire. That being said, the facts that I'm bringing in to support these theories are from the books. Kat and I have had our books splayed open. We've been searching for passages and facts and all different things. So this is not without thought. Thought has gone into these theories. So Kat just read City of Fallen Angels and City of Lost Souls like last month. She was waiting to read them close to the release of City of Heavenly Fire. I'm brushing my teeth a few weeks ago, and Kat boxes me.
Hey Christine, I'm just reading City of Lost Souls, and I don't know if this gets resolved toward the end or something, so don't spoil it or anything, but I just picked up on something that might be really big. Izzy was thinking about Clary and her green eyes, and she was wishing that she inherited her parents' blue eyes, like Clary has her mom's beautiful piercing green eyes. But instead, she's stuck with these black ones.
The box ends, and I'm like, oh my god! What does this? What? I need to. What? Let's be calm here. Let's be calm. I've read it. I remember reading it, but I wasn't thinking when I was reading it. Kat and I explode into theory discussion because what the fuck is Izzy not the Lightwood's child? Who is Izzy? I looked this up in the book. It's on page 174 of City of Lost Souls. Although Isabelle wished that, in the same way that Clary had gotten her mother's green eyes, she had gotten Mars and Robert's blue ones. Mars and Roberts. That's confirmation that both her parents have blue eyes. Shadowhunter Wiki thinks that Robert Lightwood has brown eyes. I don't know if this is a continuity issue. Doesn't matter anymore. Cassie says they both have blue eyes. We've all taken 7th grade bio. We know blue is recessive, right? Genetics. You gotta have 2 little R's to have recessive gene. Then all you can do is have recessives. Everyone's gonna get the recessive gene. Izzy has black eyes. What the hell? So, does this mean that she's the love child of Robert Lightwood? That's both of our first thoughts. Is Izzy not Mars's kid? So Kat's like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna research on the internet. We gotta see what's going on here. We gotta see if anyone else has this theory. Kat jumps on the internet. She finds this post on Cassandra Clare's Tumblr. Somebody asked her this question from 2 years ago. So around the time that City of Lost Souls came out. Wow, I just read City of Lost Souls and I caught a little tidbit near the beginning. Isabelle was saying how she had black eyes while both her parents had blue. I was led to believe that this is genetically impossible. So does that mean one or both of the Lightwoods aren't her actual parents? Like maybe her dad wasn't the only one not faithful. Cassie answers, and this only has 35 notes. Not many people saw that. It was kind of just brushed over. I don't think this is a spoiler, but I've been asked it enough that I thought I'd just answer it. It's a myth that 2 blue-eyed people can't have a dark-eyed child. Genetics is more complicated than Punnett squares lead us to believe. Then she quotes a scientific blurb about how this can happen. Kind of just distracting, you get bored reading them. It ends with one sentence by itself saying, 2 brown-eyed parents can have a blue-eyed child. In fact, this is fairly common. She has that quote by itself on a separate line. That sentence is a complete twist of what was asked. We said 2 blue-eyed people having a brown-eyed kid. Okay, it's not impossible that 2 light-eyed parents can have a dark-eyed child, but it's rare. And then the last thing she says here is, in any event, Isabelle's eye color doesn't mean anything as regards to her parentage. Yeah, it doesn't mean anything necessarily. But let's look at this objectively. What are the chances that Izzy is one of those rare children that do not inherit the blue eyes? Authors don't do this by accident. They don't just drop a line like that. Izzy didn't have to think about her eyes. She had to think about how they were different colors. This sentence was placed in book 5 for a reason. I don't know how this is gonna play in, but Izzy has been getting more and more curious about this affair that her dad had. This known cheating happened around the time that Max was conceived. So that was about 1998, right? But because this is brought up, because we're digging deeper into what's up with Mars and Robert, it has to come up in City of Heavenly Fire. Izzy, with her eyes, this drop is not a coincidence. What the F? So the question is here, okay, oh my god. So there's a huge probability that Izzy is not the child of Mars and Robert. There is a scandal here. The question is, what is the scandal here? We know for a fact that she looks like Mars. I'm a boxer with Kat, like I know that so many people have said she looks like Mars. And she's like, yeah, I think I've heard that too. She looks it up in the book, yes. There's a lot of passages where people have said she looks just like Mars. Okay, so that leads us to believe that she is Mars's kid. But, then let's take a look at the infernal devices. In the infernal devices, we meet Cecily Herondale. The adjectives, the descriptions of Cecily Herondale parallel Isabelle's descriptions hard. When I met Cecily, I was like, this girl's gotta be related to Izzy, right? Cecily marries into the Lightwood family. So we're split here. She looks like Mars, but Cecily married into the Lightwood family. And Izzy has the Lightwood family heirloom, the necklace. How did it get down to her? That's another question in itself. How did she get that necklace? Who had it before her? That's a whole nother can of worms, and I'm gonna table that over there. Kat and I were obsessing over how she got that necklace for like a good hour. Who gave it to her? How was it passed down through the Lightwoods? More importantly, whose child is she? Robert's or Mars's? We know Robert has a history of cheating throughout the entire series, both Infernal Devices and Mortal Instruments. We've heard about the Lightwood men being unfaithful to their wives. It's been set up over and over and over again. So if we run with that idea, Izzy is the only one that knows about this affair that her dad had. Mars told her. Why did she tell her? Did she tell her because Izzy is someone's love child? Because looking at her reminds her that Robert cheated on her all those years ago and had a kid that she now took in? Is she like the Catelyn Stark of the Mortal Instruments series? Why would she take in Robert's love child with another woman? Okay, so I'm thinking, you know, what do we know about Mars's family? Nothing. Have you ever heard about cousins on that side? Alec is only like a year and a half, 2 years older than Izzy. It's very, very possible Mars wasn't pregnant and Alec never noticed. Here comes my grand theory here. Mars had a sister. Sister had an affair with Mars's husband, Robert Lightwood. Sister gets preggers. WTF, the scandal! So, sister, that would explain Mars looking like her, right? I've never heard Mars talk about her family. Maybe because her sister fucking betrayed her and had sex with her husband. Sister gets pregnant, has Izzy, then dies. Something happens to her. She gets taken away. Mars has to take in the baby. This is her niece. Her husband's and her sister's love child. What is she gonna do but take it in as her own? Is your mind blown right now? That is theory number one. What the F? The other option is that Mars is the one who cheated. Right in the middle here, we have the mystery of Max. Because I'm thinking, if only there was a third kid. And then I remember, we got Max. I went to make this video yesterday, not thinking about Max, and I voxed Kat and I'm like, wait, Max! What color eyes did Max have? And she's like, I don't know. And I asked Jesse, because he just read City of Glass, what color eyes did Max have? I need to know because this make or breaks this theory. And he's like, sorry, I don't remember. I don't remember either. Which is weird, because we know everyone's eye color in the Shadowhunter series. So I leave Kat this message. We're both tearing through our books. We're looking for any reference to Max. We're writing down page numbers, writing down notes, and you know what we find? No description of what color his eyes are. They say he has glasses, he's got brown hair. No eye description. It's poignant that it's not mentioned. There are little snippets where they say Max looked up and blinked at me. But it doesn't say Max looked up and blinked at me with his blue eyes, with his brown eyes, just blink. It adds to this whole mystery. Why don't we know? It would add weight one way or another. If he had blue eyes, it would really make Izzy stick out. So the other option here, this is the most insane theory. And at first it seemed crazy. Robert was cheating around the time that Max was conceived, which is like 1998. Izzy was conceived like 1990, 1991. So maybe Mars cheated earlier and that threw their whole relationship off. So I'm thinking, if Mars had this affair, who did she have the affair with? It would just flow a lot easier if she was Mars's kid because she looks so much like Mars. Like, this sister thing, it could have happened. Robert could have had an affair with a sister, but it's just easier to think that Mars is the one that cheated. Who did she cheat with? It feels like it has to be significant. I voxed Kat and I'm like, her eyes. Who do we know who has dark eyes? And I'm racking my brain thinking to myself, you know, Sebastian is the only one that we really hear a lot about his dark eyes, but he obviously didn't give birth to Izzy. And then I get a box from Kat, and she's like, I mean, there is Valentine, but like, that seems really crazy. I'm on the other side of this box like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god! And I answer back like, wait, Kat, no, because wait. Right off the bat, this sounds absolutely batshit insane. Hear me out here. Valentine does have really, really dark eyes. That would be a huge twist if Isabelle is the secret love child of Valentine and Mars. But you know who likes to do things like that to us? Cassandra Clare. We start brainstorming, how could this have happened? Let's work out the timeline here. Alex was born about a year before the uprising. What was Valentine doing during this uprising time? Let's think back here. Yeah, he was experimenting on pregnant women. You know who pushed the Lightwoods to be part of the circle? Mars. Mars was an integral part of the circle. She was charmed by Mr. Valentine. Mars, and she says this in the books, thought she was his #1 trusted lieutenant. Later, she found out he was telling everyone that, but she trusted him then. Back to Valentine here, experimenting on the pregnant women's. When Valentine has a mission, he believes in it 100% over anything else because he thinks he's special. He thinks he's gonna change the world. Whatever he does is justified in his eyes. Let's think about this. He experimented with demon blood on the first disaster of a child, Jonathan Christopher Sebastian. He experimented with angel blood on Miss Stephen Harrendel's wife, Cecilia. If Valentine wanted another test subject and was out of pregnant women, I would not put it past him to impregnate someone himself. And I think he would have no moral issues with cheating on Jocelyn because it wouldn't be cheating. It's science. And Valentine is aware. He's a smart guy. He knows when he's got a woman wrapped around his finger. He knows when a woman would do anything for him. And it is very possible that he manipulated Mars into thinking they had a relationship and impregnated her. It could have happened. Kat is looking through the books. She finds this passage that could support this theory. Mark is talking to Luke and she's like, you're not a shadow hunter. You haven't lived by the law of the clave in a long, long time. And Luke goes, there was a time when you didn't live by it either. Color flooded Mars's cheeks. I would have thought that by now you would have gotten past not being able to trust anyone, Mars. Mars goes, some things you never forget. Her voice held a dangerous softness. You think pretending his own death was the biggest lie Valentine ever told us? You think charm is the same as honesty? I used to think so. I was wrong. So it does seem that Mars has some deep-rooted emotions up in this Valentine area, and it would seem that Valentine has lied to her. Valentine was experimenting on pregnant women, so if he did do this, we could assume that he was trying to experiment on Mars. Let's take a look at Izzy. We don't really take a hard look at Izzy. We take her for granted. We know she's awesome, she's a great shadow hunter, but we don't think about the fact that she's second only to Jace. Second only to Jace. Izzy keeps up with Jace. Like, we hear it all the time, but it doesn't mean anything until now. I mean, it's possible that she's just really fantastic, but going along with this idea, what if she was experimented on? It just like, I couldn't even, like, the more I thought about this, I was like, oh my god, Izzy keeps up with Jace. This makes sense. Oh my god. So there's a chance that if this did happen, she was experimented on too, probably with a different thing. Valentine liked to experiment with different things with each subject. The fact that he experimented with angel blood also with Clary was an accident. He didn't know that Jocelyn was preggers. With warlock blood, with vampire blood, with fairy blood, with whatever his little heart desired. Or maybe he didn't get to. Maybe he did impregnate her, intending to do that, but then the uprising happened, and all this crap went down. So the uprising happens, everyone disperses. Mars could have easily kept this a secret. She could have easily never even had to explain this to Robert. This could have been a complete and utter secret. If she had ever told anyone, there was a good chance that her child would have been killed because the hatred for Valentine, or that she would have had a much more intense sentence than she received for working with Valentine in the first place. Mars and Robert's relationship is all over the place. We have no idea what's going on in their brains. There could be all this parental politics that we are not aware of because they haven't told their kids and we only hang out with their kids. Who knows how long their relationship was on the rocks? It seems like Max is the one that kept their relationship together. I would assume that Max did have blue eyes. Me and Kat both agree that he is probably the actual child of Robert and Mars. He did save their marriage, and now that he's dead, that's broken apart again. Maybe Robert started to question Izzy's origins around the time that Max was conceived, and that's why he went off and had an affair. Is your mind boggling? I'm still boggling. So, now you've heard it. The Polandtastic theory. If this is true, Kat and I are going to be so triumphant. Please share your thoughts on this subject. Please let me know if this has blown your mind. I'm Christine. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you next time. And I'm thinking about Izzy and her being, you know, her being an experimental baby inside of Mars. And I'm thinking about him maybe, you know, experimenting on her with some other type of blood. With like, you know, warlock, vampire, fairy, right? And it's bringing me back. It's bringing me back to Stained Glass. When, you know, Voldemort. Valentine is obsessed. I'm remembering he's obsessed with the things that they have and that Shadowhunters don't. The immortality that vampires have, the magic that wizards have, you know, like the magic that fairies have. Like, why do they have them and we don't? And he was trying to isolate those traits and give them to Shadowhunters, right? Find a way to use them. He was experimenting on himself all the time. And what if he experimented with those things on Izzy, like more of a vampire warlock based base, and gave her some sort of extended lifetime, you know, extended life period, like a vampire? Sissy?